Priya and Daniel were not reckless people. They were the kind of couple who compared insurance quotes, meal planned, and had spreadsheets for everything. In 2021, they owned a condo in Mississauga and felt boxed in. 2 young children, both working from home part of the week, toys everywhere, no backyard, no room to breathe. Outside Toronto, larger homes looked like a better value. Cambridge seemed like the answer. More house, better life. Same basic logic everyone was repeating. Lock something down now before the next jump in prices. They bought a 4-bedroom resale home for $1.05 million. They sold their condo, rolled their equity forward, and felt clever. Family members congratulated them. Social media rewarded them. They were doing what upwardly mobile families are supposed to do. Trade the starter place for the real family home. Then rates rose faster than their plan did. The financing was still technically possible, but the monthly carrying cost was far above what they had modeled. Then came the second hit. The bank appraisal on the new house was weaker than expected because comparable sales in the area had softened. The value was no longer what buyers had been frantically paying during peak emotion. It was what a nervous lender thought it could recover in a worse market. That difference forced Priya and Daniel to inject more cash than they wanted. Furniture money vanished. Their reserve disappeared. A small renovation budget for the basement and the fence was gone before they even got the keys. Then they moved in and started discovering what more house really meant. Bigger heating bills, bigger repair bills, more stuff to maintain, higher taxes, higher insurance. For the first 6 months, they still tried to behave like nothing had changed. They kept the kids in activities. They went out occasionally. They pretended the pressure was temporary. But every month ended the same way, a feeling that all the effort of working was going straight into the building, while the building gave nothing back but chores and anxiety. Soon, the mortgage and housing-related costs were swallowing around 70% of their take-home income. That percentage changes a household. It changes tone. It changes patience. It changes how often you say yes. The nice family home started stripping away the very life it was supposed to improve. Hockey, soccer, and swimming were cut first because they were expensive and seasonal. Then all extracurriculars were reduced. Family dinners out disappeared. There was no room for spontaneous fun. No weekend getaway. No replacing the aging car without anxiety. Even groceries changed texture. Brand names disappeared. Good cuts of meat vanished. Fresh fish became occasional. Every aisle in the grocery store became a tiny negotiation. Financial pressure also creates an uglier kind of scarcity that people do not discuss enough. It narrows personalities. Priya became more anxious and controlling because unpredictability now felt dangerous. Daniel withdrew because every conversation seemed to end in money. He started taking on extra work and side jobs, which meant he was around less, which made home life harder, which led to more resentment. They were both exhausted, but in different languages. And then comes the subtle trauma. You stop seeing friends because you cannot afford the social pace. You decline weddings, birthdays, trips, and dinners. Shame sneaks in because you own $1 million house, yet feel broke. The children pick up on the tension. Maybe not the math, but the mood. They hear, "Not this month," enough times to understand that money is now the main character in the house. Intimacy often suffers too. It is difficult to feel relaxed, playful, or affectionate when both people feel hunted by the next payment. Sleep gets worse. Blood pressure goes up. One spouse becomes the spender in the other's eyes, even if neither is actually irresponsible. You can live in the same home and start behaving like opposing counsel. They explored selling after a year. The numbers were brutal. The resale value had slipped below what they paid. Loss would likely land somewhere between $180,000 and $260,000. So they held on because of pride. Any other investment would have been sold off. But when your real estate investment becomes your home, you have conflicting objectives. The house may have been a great home decision, but it was a failure as a financial decision. You will lose it all if you can't afford the other. In practice, under the wrong timing, it becomes a device that converts family income into stress while freezing you in place. Priya and Daniel did not buy a dream home. They bought a more expensive form of captivity. The market does not need to crash to ruin the experience. It only needs to stop cooperating long enough for your monthly reality to become your daily problem.